The Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for a couple weeks or so, somewhere around there, and I've been really enjoying it. Loving Mario Kart World, some Cyberpunk 2077, going back to some Switch 1 games with them improvements. You know what I mean? I thought it was an awesome system. But now, I guess I've changed my mind. I think it sucks. Actually, I don't, because I'm not a weak-minded fool. But there is a lot of talks out there, a lot of talks of people who are just annoyed, or I don't know if people are changing their mind, but there's been a lot of hate because some technical analysts going on out there, people being told how bad things are. And I always find this funny when people change their minds on things because they're told certain things. And I don't always think that that's the, reason that people put out like videos or information or share their findings, is to change people's minds on the way they, had viewed things to begin with. I don't always think that's the goal, but sometimes people are impressionable. Sometimes people just don't take things as just information to hope for maybe future updates, or, for things to change, or just, whatever, man. Like, there's people I've seen out there who are either just straight haters or just playing the part, or maybe they have been impressionable. They have this cognitive dissonance, which is a mental discomfort when they have multiple conflicting beliefs. It causes like this psychological tension. And it happens when there's someone that you respect or possibly believe is knowledgeable, maybe an influencer, that tells you something that you like sucks. So now you're conflicted. Do you side with them and just say, yeah, it sucks? Or do you just keep on keeping, right? Keep on going with it and enjoying what you initially enjoyed. I've seen this so many damn times in the past with things like emulation devices, like mini consoles, where people are enjoying them, playing them. Oh my God, Sega Genesis Mini, these games are awesome. They're cool. The NES Mini, Super Nintendo Mini, and then somebody comes out and says, oh, the emulation sucks. And then everybody out there saying, this is unplayable, it's garbage. But everybody was having fun with it to begin with. You know what I mean? And it was the same thing with the Switch 2. I didn't hear anybody for the past couple weeks. I didn't hear anybody at all saying anything other than the initial people that are just, it's too expensive, the games are expensive. Those, valid criticisms. I'm not even saying any of this stuff is not valid criticism, but there were, nobody was talking about this until people like Digital Foundry, came out with their long-ass 2-hour video. I kind of skimmed through it, saw some of the stuff that they talked about. I would say, okay, I'm not going to take any of their footage. I don't like taking footage from other people's videos and throwing it into mine. I don't do that. But I did take a look at what they did and kind of, tried to recreate some of the stuff that they were looking at. Because initially, when I was looking at the Switch 2, I thought the screen looked freaking amazing. Now, it's no OLED. I get it. But their thing is they're saying overall, the screen is not great. It has slower response time issues with blur and ghosting. They say it's slower than Switch 1 LCD, the original Switch 1, that the HDR implementation's not proper, that I guess it can't be with the 420 nits brightness LCD. The VRR implementation is poor. Just overall, the clarity, certain things with all that is just not right. It's not right. It's just a garbage ass screen. I mean, that's not their specific words, but that's the way people are taking it. And some of the words that did come out of a specific person's mouth there was like, yeah, if this was put up for a whole rating, it would, the screen would just be a laughing stock of the world type thing. Nintendo should be embarrassed type of deal. And like, I'm not a big handheld gamer. So, like, I've played the Switch 2 in handheld mode, but not much. Even the Switch 1, I never did too much. It was kind of a waste for me to get an OLED, but I did get the OLED, Switch 1, and I did mess with the screen a bit. And I thought it looked okay, but, it was fine. And when I looked at the Switch 2, I thought, wow, this screen looks great. The colors are popping, everything's looking good. And the issues that they brought forward, while it does seem legit, like now people are taking it like you can't have fun with it anymore. Some people anyway. I don't think these 12-year-olds out there, 15-year-olds, 8-year-olds, I don't even think most adults give a shit, to be honest with you. Most people are not even going to see that video who own a Switch 2. Not to say the video is not popular, it's hella popular, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get every Switch 2 owner to see the video that talks about it's a 2-hour video. You know what I mean? I don't know if they have a smaller condensed version, but um, not everybody who owns a Switch 2 is going to see the video and have their mind blown to where they're like, oh my God, the Switch 2 sucks. I can't play this thing anymore. I don't think that's going to happen. It's a very popular video. And I don't think everybody who's watched that video is going to like be like, oh, it's the end of the world. But I have seen so many people utilizing that video to say how garbage Nintendo is. Now, Nintendo definitely deserves criticism, but nobody was talking about this stuff until Digital Foundry put out their video. And that's fine, I guess. But for that to take away from your fun doesn't sound right to me. I- If like mentally you can't handle that, like if you're just like, damn, Nintendo, like you took some steps forward and then several steps back with this screen nonsense. What the hell is wrong with you? Like higher resolution and like mess with the refresh rate, the slower response, whatever. Like what the hell? Like the response time issues, not the refresh, but response time issues with the ghosting and all that. Like what the hell is wrong with you? Like valid criticism's fine, but like you can't just like all of a sudden change your mind and be like, I can't have fun with this anymore. That's kind of weak, you know what I mean? At least in my eyes, it is. Like I didn't notice this stuff to begin with. When it's like full on, even after I saw all this and I seen in my, Twitter feed, X feed, these talks going on out there. Um, I didn't even notice it when I picked up my Switch 2. It was like, let me play some 2D games. Let me play some 3D games and see if I can notice this ghosting, right? I didn't notice it with my eyes immediately. When you take the Switch 2 and you film it and then you slow down the footage, yeah, it's there for sure, 100%. But I mean, in their video, I think they did mention something about overdrive or something, Nintendo possibly being able to implement some kind of software change to hopefully address that with the response time and it maybe being able to fix that. It's a possibility, right? There's some hope, I guess, if it's something that bothers you that much. But also at the same time, Nintendo, um, they've never been on the cutting edge technology. They've always been on the weird side of trying new things, right? Wonky weirdness. They haven't been like, oh, we have to have the cutting edge, bleeding edge technology and everything. They have to do the weird, quirky stuff. Uh, is it like should we expect the best screen? I don't think that's wrong to expect the best screen, especially at 500, 450, $500. But Nintendo, they've gotten more and more greedy over the years. I would say for sure. So we kind of went into this, I think, knowing well when they announced this kind of their version of the specs, and we knew it wasn't going to be an OLED out the door. It was going to be an LCD. You kind of had to get your expectations in check a bit. It'd be like, well, they're going to do a refresh at some point, and they will drop an OLED Switch 2 to once they get so many sales on this thing and it starts to diminish a bit or slow down, then they'll drop that OLED model, right? Nintendo knows what they're doing, but yeah, I don't know. You can't let these technical, analysts out there take away from your fun. You take it as knowledge and be like, man, hopefully, like these things can be addressed or whatever. But you can't if you didn't notice it to begin with, it can't destroy your fun now. Is what my point is, I guess. And I've seen people out there trying to say that that's what like, it's the end of the world. It's over. Like, yeah, everything sucks. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That's just my rant and ramble for the day. Appreciate you guys. Let me know what you think. Bye.